Hey, this is Spawn300 and today I'm going to be going Noob to Pro with Chivalry, Deadliest Warrior. So, any corrections I need to make for the newbie to Noob, and yeah, basically the only fix that's been made that was major is that the issue where if it says, say, there are 2 out of 32 players, there might end up being more or less than that. That has been fixed. Now these do show relatively accurate numbers. Every once in a while it's been off a little bit, but that could just be that while I was loading, other people were loading in. Let's find a good server. Last team standing. So I'm going to do another quick rundown of the classes. I have found 1 or 2 interesting bits about each one, so it's good to go through those again. First up, we have the Samurai, and I will be playing as him, even though I hate him, but hey. Actually, now let's go Viking. So, Samurai. The Samurai is basically the best way to think of him as a knight, but slightly more aggressive. The Samurai having no shield. He does have a pretty nice bow, though. 2-handed weapons. When he draws his sword, that is an attack, but it's an absolutely terrible attack, and you're an idiot for using it, because it's a little bit slow, so if the opponent chooses to attack you, you're actually going to kind of die before your attack goes through. It doesn't do that much damage, and so it's just a really terrible gimmick. It's okay-ish if you're fighting against a ranged target, but once again, that may as well just be a standard overhead attack. Next up is the Ninja. So Ninja is what you would expect. He is fast-moving, low armor, and good amount of damage. He has throwing shuriken that he can use without actually needing to sheath his weapon, which is a very nice advantage for him. So as he retreats, he can throw. He can throw shuriken to distract opponents. He can always switch targets with them. And yeah, it's a pretty nice class. It might need a slight debuff because I've noticed that ninjas tend to win quite a bit, or at least they kill me a lot, but that could just be that I usually use shielded characters, so they roll off to the side and just negate my shield. And that's always a possibility. The Spartan. Pretty obvious. Spear gives him good range, shield. He's relatively tough. He isn't as tough as you'd think, but that's probably because, he's wearing bronze armor against, like, the Knight's iron. I actually think they have steel. I'm not too sure on that, though. Don't take my word for it. So, yeah, just about that. The Knight basically thinks Samurai, but slightly more defensive. He can use shields. I think he has slightly more armor than the Samurai, but as a result is slower. So that's something you need to watch out for. He does have some pretty nice range. The Samurai does have better range combat. Where is everyone? I've just been following these guys for a while. Anyway, so yeah, basically that. There isn't much of a difference between the Knight and Samurai. It's more a matter of preference. Any classes that I am missing? Yes, the Pirate, my least favorite class. As I said in the newbie to Noob, the Pirate is really weak. He still is really weak. I have found 1 or 2 other advantages that he has, but those advantages are virtually useless. If he taunts, he basically drinks a bunch of beer and gets drunk, but that does actually heal him rather ironically. Except you end up getting dazed a little bit, and to be honest, if you're out of combat and not sprinting, you heal anyway, so all that basically does is that you heal slightly faster, but at the cost of vulnerability. So it's extremely situational. Yeah, he's getting away. And yeah, the Pirate's gun, like, you think that the gun would be nice. It's actually kind of the opposite of what you'd think for a gun of the era. It's highly accurate, but little damage. It's really weird. And you do get a 1-hit kill with headshots, but that's the only thing. That's the only nice bit about it, but that's universal for all ranged weapons. The Pirate's gun definitely is the best ranged weapon, but compared to everyone else's, it's not really worth it. His melee is absolutely terrible. He moves kind of fast, but compared to the Ninja, who's a true specialist in the speed style, he's not going to win. And his speed just isn't enough. He doesn't have enough health. His attacks are terrible. So yeah, that. As I said, the Pirate probably needs a serious buff. The way I do it is I change the role of the gun, where instead of being an accurate kind of sharpshooter weapon, go for a very Napoleonic War style, where highly inaccurate, but if it hits, it's probably going to kill. At least allow 1-hit kills on Ninja. Please, at least against super low armor guys. But like, I'm serious, against Vikings, against Spartans, Knights, against those heavy armor guys, 3 hits, unless it's a headshot. But headshots basically require, like, square in the forehead. Also, I think that the Viking does actually need a debuff, rather ironically as I'm playing it, just because, as you can see, I can throw the shield. I can also throw these axes. So basically what I've decided is I basically, whenever I engage, I just start spamming the throw until I have just the axe left. And also you can pick them up, which is nice. And yeah, I got shot. That was a pretty nice kill ground they set up. Yeah, they got the better end of that trade. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so essentially they can just throw everything. And as a result, like, against unshielded opponents, they just bash what little health they have left. They can run up, make a nice stab, and that's it for them. I've literally seen entire teams of Vikings quite literally throw their entire arsenals at the enemy, and as hilarious as it is to watch them just melt under the sheer mass of wood and a bit of metal from the axes, you know, it's terrible. Definitely need a debuff. It's not as bad as I'd probably make it sound, but even still, a bit of an advantage that they shouldn't have. Overall, though, the various classes, they interact with each other pretty well. As much as I would like to say that, you know, maybe there should be a Team Fortress 2 style check and balance system where various classes counter each other, that probably wouldn't work just because this isn't really the standard game mode. The standard game mode is kind of just each race or warrior type is their own team, and they'll basically fight each other. So having a check and balance system would completely screw that, because imagine if it's just, say, Spartans versus Vikings, and for whatever reason the Vikings counter the Spartan, you'll have a bit of an issue there. So, yeah. A big annoyance I have is that there is no objectives mode in this. There's only team deathmatch, last team standing, some kind of capture the flag-esque thing where the flag's in the middle and then you bring it to the enemy side. It's a little bit weird, but that mode I kind of avoid. I personally like last team standing. Oh wow, we're seriously outnumbered. See him over there. Yeah, setting up another kill ground. As much as I want to engage that, the Viking shield isn't that great. You know, it's kind of small. If I was a Spartan, I might be slightly more willing to do it. Yeah, they literally have a Spartan shield wall up there. Yep, getting shot at. Oh, shield's clipping. I wonder if I can use that to my advantage. Not really. Anyway, so yeah, no objectives, which is... I'm not too happy about that. I would have liked them to see them making an artificial story where there's like a theoretical universe in which all these warriors, for whatever reason, encounter each other. So they basically form up various teams, and there's a scenario for every possible matchup. Well, maybe not every possible matchup, because, you know, then you have a couple hundred missions, and I don't think these guys can really handle to make that many. But, like, you know, just like, how about, like, the Spartan and the Samurai, Spartan and Samurai, for I thought I said Samurai twice. Anyway, so Spartan and Samurai, like, you know, they get together to take on the Viking and the Ninja, and, you know, that would be an awesome thing, and they need to poison their water supply, or whatever that is, or repel a Viking raid, and some ninjas have come from behind, so you get an interesting defensive area. That would be very interesting to see, but nah, they just decided to go for a standard multiplayer mode. So overall, this is an expansion pack for the core game, and is it worth it? What I've generally concluded is that, well, first off, this being a multiplayer-only game, there is single-player, but the AI is terrible, don't bother. Anyway, it's basically multiplayer-only, and the Chivalry, standard Chivalry servers, those are not abandoned at all, they're actually relatively full. So you don't actually require this in order to play the game. But my overall conclusion is that this expansion doesn't change the game that much. It adds a little bit more variety. It adds a little bit more, I guess, specialization, because to be honest, the difference between the Vanguard and the Knight wasn't huge. The Pirate, the Archer equivalent kind of is the Pirate, but the Pirate sucks unlike the Archer. And, you know, you kind of have this whole thing going on, but there's lots more versatility here. And at the same time, there isn't, like, it's a little bit hard to explain. It's like there's more versatility than Chivalry, but there wasn't that much versatility to begin with. Yeah, I can't word that properly, but hey. Overall, I think that you should only get this if you like the original. So go over to a friend's house who has this, and nope, not attacking that. Go over to a friend's house who has this, or just if you own the standard game and you happen to like it, get this. I mean, I really think it is an improvement. And overall, you don't need it, but I think that does improve the game enough to be worth the money. The one issue that you'd probably have with testing it first with the core game is just that there's basically a bundle where you save a couple of bucks if you buy them together. So you don't know whether to get the bundle because then you're paying extra for something you might not like, and, you know, you get that whole mess going on. What just happened? What? Do they have a ninja? Because they have, like, the disorientation bomb. Is there a ninja? That was weird. Anyway, so overall, like, yeah, I really think that the expansion pack is worth it, but only if you like the core game. If you don't like the core game, this isn't going to fix it. Same combat, tad more variety, but once again, not enough to make it worth it. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know where I could go with this. I'm Spartan300 Therm. A like and subscription are appreciated, and I'll see you next time.